So hello guys, welcome to episode 26 of our Aston Martin save and race 3 in season 2, and we start today with some regulation changes, or our chance to vote on them at least. We can either go for minor or moderate regulation changes. It's in relation to the development next season. I reckon we're going to go for the minimal changes. We do seem to be climbing the grid a little bit, so it doesn't make sense for us to impose massive changes. So we are going to vote for the minimal regulation changes. If you didn't watch the last episode, go back and watch that. It was a bit of a shorter episode, but if we have a quick look at what happened in Jeddah and the previous race results, as we can see, Fernando Alonso unfortunately finishing outside the points, but Pierre Gasly scoring points once again. What does that mean for the constructor standings? We are currently still in P4 after 2 races as we head to Australia next in the Albert Park circuit. 58 laps around here. I used to love this circuit. It's interesting. We should be okay. Charles Leclerc holds the lap record in 2022. If we have a look at the circuit map, we can see that three sectors there. Car attributes, top speed, low speed cornering, which we're good at. We're decent at top speed. We could be expecting a very decent performance this weekend, definitely. Expected strategy is just a one-stop from the medium on to the hard, and we should have some more developments coming through. Current projects, we've got the new suspension coming through manufacturing at the moment, so that should all be ready for this weekend, the 10th of April, a day before my birthday in real life on game. So what we're going to do is fast forward now. I'm going to get through the practice sessions, and we shall see you in qualifying.
Welcome to Melbourne for a weekend of fierce competition. We're a stone's throw from the beach here at the Albert Park circuit. It might be party mood in the grandstands, but in the paddock, expectations and tensions are high. The Albert Park circuit is bursting with rapid corners and a long straight where drivers can push their speed to the limit. Good attention to medium speed downforce will likely make beating this beast of a track just a little bit easier. We might still be early in the season, but that doesn't mean we can sit back and relax. Everything is up for grabs, and nothing is certain at this stage. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Formula One.
So guys, you join us in Q3, and yes, we don't have to show you Q1 and Q2 anymore. Q2 was pretty nip and tuck. We just got through 9th and 10th. That's been our sort of pace all weekend. Fernando Alonso has improved on a fresh set of self-compound tyres. How much has he managed to improve? Fernando Alonso goes P9, overtakes Pierre Gasly, but Pierre Gasly up to P8 after a fantastic qualifying again. Pierre Gasly is justifying the money we are paying him, and you can't be too upset at all. We're in the Q3. We're in qualifying 3. We couldn't even get out of Q1 all of last season, apart from a little bit of rain here and there. But Fernando Alonso and Pierre Gasly, we look like we've got the pace this weekend. We are within a second of Max Verstappen, who's currently fastest, from Charles Leclerc. I think the other one we're waiting on is possibly Carlos Sainz. But I think he's just heading back to the garage. So 1:17.5 from Max Verstappen. We're within a second. We could be in for a good weekend. And that is your grid for tomorrow. P8, P10 for us. Let's get to the strategies. Right, guys, so strategy-wise, there's not much in it. I mean, we look one stop medium to hard. That is the main strategy. There's what, 700ths of a second difference between that and the 2-stop. And we've got then the variables of the pit stop. Do we have a bad stop? I think the best thing to do is start on the mediums for both of our guys, and we'll address it as we go through. We need to be competent with his decision making, but that makes sense. So both guys on a 1-stop, push at the start and see where we go from there. 5 red lights in Australia. Let's get into it.
There we have Pierre Gasly. With a top 10 position on the grid, this race could really go either way for them. And here's Alonso, the team's second driver. They're in the front half of the pack, so there's plenty of potential for them. And we're just moments away now. Brace yourselves for the Australian Grand Prix. It's lights out, and away we go.
And away we go, and we're going to be straight in to Pierre Gasly, who looks like he's nearly lost the position off the start, but he's going to have the inside line into turn 1. Can Pierre Gasly hold it? He can. Aggressive on the curve there. Pierre Gasly doing very, very well to make that back up though. Fernando Alonso looks like he's done the exact same behind him. So both our guys in the early stages maintaining positions. If we look at the tyres, everybody around us is on the medium compounded tyre. So there's not much really. I can't see many variables with the pit stops. Safety cars could make a big difference, but Sebastian Vettel's doing rather well at his new team in Alpine. Vettel and Alonso obviously swapping places, but Sebastian Vettel has had some good pace in that Alpine so far this season. He's been rather impressive, but Pierre Gasly equally so in our car. He's definitely the #1 driver at this moment in time, and he's latching onto the back of Valtteri Bottas in lap 1. But we'll have a quick rundown of the top 10 as we can see Max Verstappen leading the charge. Charles Leclerc in P2, then comes Carlos Sainz, Sergio Perez comes in P4, Lewis Hamilton P5, George Russell down in P6, then comes Bottas, Gasly, Ocon and Fernando Alonso round off the top 10. You join us back on lap 3 because I reckon there is an overtake coming. Pierre Gasly has got the speed, Esteban Ocon certainly hasn't. Fernando Alonso with DRS should just drive past this Alpine, and then hopefully he can attack, he can get up with the Gasman, who's doing a fantastic job at this moment in P8. He's pulled 2 seconds to Esteban Ocon. Fernando's not been able to get past him as we would have hoped, but hopefully now we can use the pace of this Aston Martin to catch back up to Pierre Gasly. We'll not watch that replay as we saw it live, but we'll just keep a check on what's going on the front. The lead has changed. It is Charles Leclerc in the Scuderia Ferrari who is now leading from Max Verstappen. Carlos Sainz in third. Them two Mercs look very, very strong this season, but also these Aston Martins look very strong as well. Fernando Alonso already looking to pull out the gap on Esteban Ocon, and at the back we might as well have a look because nobody really cared about us last season, did they, when we were at the bike? But now we're going to have a quick look. Mick Schumacher is fighting Yuki Tsunoda in the Williams for P19. Tough times. Lap 6, we were just waxing lyrical about Fernando Alonso. He's had a bad couple of laps. He's now back down to sort of P12. He's got overtaken by both Alpines and now the Alfa Romeo. We know that Alfa Romeo has got some pace in it so far this season, but Fernando Alonso cannot seem to extract the same type of performance out of the car that Pierre Gasly can at this moment in time. It is early doors at the start of this season, of course, but that has prompted conversations on the pit wall about whether to swap Fernando Alonso to a 2-stop to try and give him some advantage, because we reckon at this moment in time his best position in this little train is P9. Maybe the 2-stop might just help him out a little bit, but those conversations on the pit wall are ongoing. And meanwhile, Pierre Gasly doing what Pierre Gasly does, just sticking with these guys in front, making the tyres last. He's doing very, very well. And it looks like we've had a crash. We have had a crash. We've just heard the clunk behind us. There is a safety car. Safety car has been deployed. It might be too early to do anything tyre-wise. But let's have a look at what's just happened. It looked like it was behind Fernando Alonso. There's a Haas and there is a McLaren. It looks like the McLaren of Lando Norris. The Haas locks up and smashes Lando Norris. That's the end of him. But Fernando Alonso is going to be under a little bit less pressure from behind. That's a real bad one for Lando Norris. Safety car is in and Max Verstappen is looking to bolt now. He's crossed the start-finish line. Max Verstappen is away, but this has really bunched the pack back up, and this could possibly be a second chance for Fernando Alonso to do some work and gain back some positions. Meanwhile, Pierre Gasly is also fighting for position as well. He's still behind Valtteri Bottas. We know that Pierre Gasly's got the pace. The difficulty has been so far with Fernando Alonso, but we have seen there is a little bit of a chance of a safety car with that incident. But as things stand, Verstappen leads from Carlos Sainz, then comes Charles Leclerc, then comes Lewis Hamilton, Sergio Perez and George Russell in P6, Bottas P7, Gasly P8, Ocon P9 and Vettel P10. Norris is out of the session and retired. Kevin Magnussen did have to go in for a front wing change during the safety car, so as a result of that incident. So lap 9, we are back underway. Lap 13, Fernando Alonso overtaking Alexander Albon in the Alfa Romeo. It's took him a little while, but he has got past that very quick car, and now he's got the 2 Alpines in his sights. We were contemplating moving to the 2-stop, but with the safety car, we don't think it's worth it at this moment in time. They're happy in our garage. They're used to seeing overtakes this season, so good stuff for them. But no, it's not going too badly at all. Lap 13, and now we are in striking distance of these two in front. And I reckon we've got the slightly quicker car than these two in front. Now, if we got past these two, I could be tempted to swap it to the two-stop, but we shall see. Lap 13. Meanwhile, Pierre Gasly, he's very much got P8 nailed on. P7, P6 is probably the maximum for Pierre Gasly today. He's now having a look at these two fighting in front. These two fighting is only dragging George Russell into our claws. Can we possibly get a P6 with Pierre Gasly? It's quite possible. Lap 14. Lap 17, and we have switched Fernando on to the two-stop. Reasons behind it is I think we're quicker than the Alpine in fresh air. If we can get some decent space out on track, get these odd tyres on, we can lean on the tyre now for this little stint, and then we've got the fresher, quicker tyre at the end rather than the one-stop. Lewis Hamilton's on a two-stop as well. He's just gone past. Now, where is Fernando going to come out? He's going to come out in quite a nice bit of room there into free air, just as we wanted. Fernando Alonso made his first pit stop, now onto the two-stop. Pierre Gasly is fighting George Russell, but more worryingly, Valtteri Bottas seems to have got away. Now, whether George Russell's got an issue or not, that's something we'll monitor. But we don't particularly need Valtteri Bottas to be disappearing into the sunset. Lap 17. Lap 18, George Russell probably couldn't have pitted at a better point. He gave Pierre Gasly the DRS as he went into the pits, and Pierre Gasly now is back up with Valtteri Bottas. Just a quick check in. Fernando Alonso, he's pushing on these tyres now. He knows what he's got to do to get try the undercut on this two-stop strategy. Different strategies to Pierre, but both guys doing particularly well at the moment. It's nice being the Aston Martin team principal at the moment. Lap 23, and Pierre Gasly, he's just made a cracking overtake on Valtteri Bottas. And what he did was he forced him away a little bit as well. He sort of pushed him off track a little bit. Not saying that's the right thing to do, but what he did was really slow Valtteri Bottas up. We've said to Pierre Gasly, give it hell on this in lap, use your ERS, use everything you've got, and then hopefully we're going to have one lap fresher tyres at the end, and hopefully we're going to come out in front of Valtteri Bottas. A few of the one-stop runners are now starting to stop. As we can see, Fernando Alonso is making his way up the order, and Fernando Alonso has jumped Sebastian Vettel by 2 seconds, so something to bear in mind there as well. We'll come back when Pierre is in the pit lane. And in the pit lane, Pierre is. Seamless, absolute seamless editing. Right, Pierre Gasly in. We could do with a good stop. We can see Charles Leclerc pitting from the lead in front of us. Esteban Ocon is in. Is Fernando Alonso going to jump in as well? Of course, Fernando Alonso has got another pit stop to make. 2.8. That's not bad for Pierre Gasly. Where is Pierre Gasly going to come out in relation to Valtteri Bottas? We can see Valtteri Bottas at the back there. Pierre Gasly has jumped in by a country mile. Pierre Gasly, fantastic work, comes out in front of George Russell, who is on the two-stop, so that's all going to work pretty well. Great pit stop for the team, great work on the strategy, great work by Pierre Gasly. Lap 24, that's looking very good, and Fernando Alonso is very much on the prowl as well, but Pierre is using his ERS, but we'll address that in a second. Pierre is now back to balanced on everything, and Fernando is still pushing on his hard compounded tyre. Lap 24. Lap 26, Pierre Gasly, absolutely brilliant work. He overtook Danny Ricciardo, we don't get the full replay there, into turn 1, and then he's managed to follow through George Russell in that Mercedes, and he's hopefully going to hang on to the DRS of him and let him drag us up towards Sergio Perez. But Pierre Gasly, yes lads, fantastic work, and also great air gel. These guys there never moves. Lovely work there. We must be sponsored by VO5 or something. Other air gel products are available, I'm sure. Right, Pierre Gasly is just about hanging on to George Russell, trying his absolute utmost to do what he can, and it looks like Fernando Alonso has also just got past Esteban Ocon, but he's going to be battling away with him for some time. But the thing is now, can Pierre Gasly manage to get in the DRS of George Russell? He's not managed it on this straight, and that could be an issue, especially with Danny Ricciardo behind him. We may have to use a little bit of ERS to catch back up with these guys. Lap 26. We're going to see a lock-up. Lewis Hamilton, absolutely no one around him, and he does end up in the gravel trap there. He's managed to get it going again, but has lost a fair bit of time there, Lewis Hamilton, which only aids our race. They're not so happy in the Aston Martin garage. This guy in particular, he needs to be having a look at some Happy Thoughts TikToks towards the end of this evening in Australia. So Pierre Gasly in P6. George Russell has managed to overtake Sergio Perez. I was hoping that little bit of battling might hold him up a bit, but it hasn't at the moment. But Pierre Gasly still doing very well. Alonso up into the points. Lap 33 on Valtteri Bottas is back on the scene, and I think he just about got DRS. Did Valtteri Bottas onto the start finish straight. Danny Ricciardo is in for his pit stop, but Pierre Gasly has now basically ended up battling with Valtteri Bottas. I do reckon that Alfa Romeo has got a little bit more pace than we have, but we're going to do our absolute utmost to just keep battling away with this guy. P6 is probably the maximum for us this weekend with Pierre Gasly, unless something drastically changes in this last few laps. He's going to be battling with Valtteri Bottas for the duration of the end of this Grand Prix. But Fernando Alonso, is the two-stop working? You'd have to say probably not. He's just been overtaken by Vettel. He is going to be on the fresher compounded tyre towards the end, but it's not looking too good. We didn't really want to be battling with these guys. Obviously, we've got another pit stop to take. These guys haven't. So lap 33, Fernando Alonso, we might have to hold his hands up on the pit wall for this one. Right, Fernando Alonso is pitting this lap 41. Interestingly, George Russell has pit. He's now down to P11. Gasly's getting a bit frustrated that he's just in this constant ding-dong battle with Valtteri Bottas, but we're not too concerned about that, and we shall tell you for why. Because if we have a look in front of him, Sergio Perez, it's possible that one of these two may stop again. Carlos Sainz may stop again. But at the moment, George Russell's down all the way down here in P11. He's got a lot of cars to get through, and Fernando Alonso is going to be coming in very, very shortly as well. So it's going to be interesting to see how this pans out. I reckon the one stop might be the quicker strategy. I think we might have jumped George Russell, and we are going to start saving the CRS up to have a real blast at Valtteri Bottas towards the end. But Fernando Alonso is in. Let's take it from his point of view as he comes in to the pit lane for his final pit stop. Is this two-stop strategy change gonna be justified? We'll find out. Is it a decent stop? 2.7. It's not bad. He's dropped behind George Russell. Kevin Magnussen's got past him, but he has crucially come out in front of Lewis Hamilton. Lewis Hamilton just coming on to the final straight. So Fernando Alonso, give it hell, my friend, towards the end of the race. Lap 42, work to be done. And just as we cut away from there, Charles Leclerc has had a spin, and that, A, he's going to lose him a couple of positions, and B, he's going to slow a couple of the guys up in front. If they've still got to pit, it's an absolute mare for the Ferrari guys. We've not really seen much of the Ferrari garage in this season, in this series so far. But what has that done to everybody? So Valtteri Bottas still 12 seconds back from him. But Charles Leclerc now, I'm guessing that's knackered his tyres up a little bit. It possibly has. Charles Leclerc, these guys in front, I'm guessing they're going to the end. So Tsunoda's in for his pit stop. These poor Williams cars just haven't improved at all from last season. Pierre Gasly very much in the fight with Valtteri Bottas. He has been saving his ERS a little bit. We've got fuel to push towards the end of the race. Fernando Alonso, interestingly, let's have a look at the lap times on this left-hand side. Fernando Alonso, last lap, we're a 1:35. We'll just speed it on a little bit and see what this first decent lap is. His first lap in anger on these medium compound tyres, 1:28.3. Not so sure about that. Not so sure about that. I'm sure we'll see them times improve a little bit. But it's all on Pierre Gasly for the big points this afternoon for Aston Martin. Lap 53, Fernando Alonso overtakes Danny Ricciardo. He's done well, Fernando Alonso. I don't think the two-stop strategy were the right one. Although George Russell may be proving that point wrong, that's a good overtake from Fernando Alonso. But the young gun, who obviously won last weekend won the weekend before, sorry, as I'm recording this, in Brazil. George Russell is right up the back of Pierre Gasly, and Valtteri Bottas has managed to get past Pierre Gasly just at the right time and put Pierre Gasly in the danger zone for this Mercedes. But crucially, we have got better tyres than Valtteri Bottas. We've got the fuel to push as well, and we've got the ERS if we should need it. I expect George Russell to get past one or if not both of us before the end of this Grand Prix. But can Pierre Gasly get past Valtteri Bottas and then put in put that Alfa Romeo between him and the Mercedes. And at this moment in time, as we've just seen live, that's exactly what he's managed to do. And now Valtteri Bottas has got this Mercedes for company. We could do with Valtteri Bottas holding that off a little bit so we can run off into the sunset. That would be the ideal. Let's see if that can happen. And to do that, we're going to deploy a little bit and say to Pierre Gasly, get you sent off, son, because we do not want to be there when that Mercedes gets past that Alfa Romeo. When we're watching this keenly, we're going to keep with this. As George Russell, we're going to ride on board, looking at the back of the Alfa Romeo. Pierre Gasly has got to give it absolutely everything to get away from these two, because this is his danger. This is the danger for Pierre Gasly. If George Russell gets past Valtteri Bottas, I think we've got enough to cover off Valtteri Bottas. What I don't think we've got enough to do is to keep that Mercedes behind us as well. We're going to leave it a little bit. All these two are going to start fighting. They're right up the back of Pierre Gasly. Pierre Gasly doesn't get the greatest exit, and George Russell manages to get through on that medium compound tyre, and he is going to get DRS off Pierre Gasly. This could be a rather crucial moment in this Grand Prix. Pierre Gasly could be an absolute sitting duck here, and he is. That Mercedes has got, and we're not going to see George Russell. George Russell's going to get past him, as he does. We manage to hold off Valtteri Bottas. Fair is fair, but George Russell, I can't see us having DRS the next time a detection point comes round, because George Russell, by the end of this straight, has nearly pulled out a second. And Valtteri Bottas also battling with Pierre Gasly, and Pierre Gasly's got work to do. This is Pierre Gasly's fight. It must be said, this is Pierre Gasly's fight now. Valtteri Bottas, P6 is the maximum. We'll come back a little later. Final lap of the Grand Prix. Valtteri Bottas has just overtaken Pierre Gasly, but he's probably done it just at the right time, because Pierre Gasly will call that experience, call it what you will, but Pierre Gasly now has got this final lap to hold off the Alfa Romeo of Bottas, the Alpine of Ocon, and Albon in the Alfa Romeo as well. It's been an absolute masterclass from Pierre Gasly. We've been so impressed with what he's managed to do. The cars behind him are still squabbling between them, and that's not helping him, because Pierre Gasly's now on deploy. We've saved up some ERS. What he crucially did was just stay behind Valtteri Bottas into that final DRS detection zone. Got DRS down the start-finish straight, and he's nearly pulled out a second now. Fernando Alonso, we're just going to switch him onto balanced fuel saving just to make sure, as we are going to do with Pierre Gasly. Now using this ERS all the way home. Pierre Gasly, he's broke the DRS crucially from Valtteri Bottas. Valtteri Bottas isn't going to get another bite of the cherry. And this man, who's come into the team in his first 3 races, done fantastically well. Pierre Gasly is showing that he deserves all the money that we've chucked at him. We've even improved the helipad this week just so that he can land his posh helicopter on it. But Pierre Gasly comes round the final corner to get P6 for Aston Martin. Fantastic work, Pierre Gasly. Beautiful work, celebrations on the pit wall. We've enjoyed that race, very much so. Pierre Gasly P6. Unfortunately, it's one of what could have been for Fernando Alonso. If we'd have left him in there, that added pit stop, I've got to hold my hands up for that, and I'm sure Mr. Alonso will be knocking on my door on Monday morning to tell me what a prat I am. But there we go, that could be an experience, but we had to try something a little different. Ultimately, Fernando has not had the pace to match Pierre Gasly over this season so far. As we come to the end, we'll just take a quick look as we're all enjoying that in the Aston Martin garage. Lovely work. This guy loves it. Look, you can tell he does. Look at him. He's just happy. It's a smirk. It's a smugness in the Aston Martin garage at this moment in time. Pierre Gasly chucks away that bit of the car, gets out to the adoring fans, and I'm sure his team, look at this. The morale, everybody's enjoying it. We're all having a few Peronis. What a time to be in this Aston Martin garage from last season. My word, she's even doing some twirls, bless her. My word, what a performance. We're still 4th in the constructors standings, and that's what we will get to now. Pierre Gasly, classification, as you can see, Max Verstappen winning the Australian Grand Prix. Then from Carlos Sainz, Sergio Perez, Charles Leclerc, master of his own downfall with that spin. Then came George Russell, absolutely flew through on the two-stop strategy. Fair play to George Russell in the Mercedes. Pierre Gasly P6, Valtteri Bottas and Albon kept us honest all afternoon. Ocon P9, Vettel 10th and Fernando Alonso 11th. We will have a look at the bike. Nicholas Latifi had a spin, shock horror. Lando Norris got absolutely smashed out of the Grand Prix. Kevin Magnussen with a couple of bumps as well. Drivers standings wide. Pierre Gasly is P6 in the drivers as Fernando Alonso P10. Max Verstappen currently leading from Carlos Sainz and Checo Perez. Constructors wise though, this is what we're interested in, and Aston Martin, we do keep ahead of Alfa Romeo. This is the battle for P4, I would say, so far this season. If we've got to keep improving, keep developing the car, but I hope you've enjoyed that. Episode 26, third race of the season done. We'll see you on Thursday for the next one. Ta-ra.